with that kind of pro day, Mike, do you expect teams to still be wary of Joe Mixon? Because I don't.
32 teams were at this pro day. I don't think 32 teams went to this pro day to not draft him. This is going to be a you snooze, you lose type situation. Like, 4th round?
I'd be surprised.
That feels
I think he's going
late
earlier
for
than
a guy
that.
that people are high on his ability, even in a deep running back class. You know, the issue with this story, like, the problem is the public. The problem is us at this point, because we continue to get it twisted about what this is about. This is not about principle. This is about productivity. This isn't about morality. How many times in how many situations do we have to see that if you can play, they're going to put you on the field? They'll take the PR hit if you could run, jump, hit, and score touchdowns for them. They'll take the criticism that comes with that. You had a general manager in Bob Quinn stand up in front of the media and say that this was unfair to us and the kid who hit the woman.
Yeah.
That he's not at the combine. You had 12 teams, meet individually with Joe Mixon last night and more today. You think they're going to sit up there and pass on this kid after what Tyreek Hill did for Kansas City? I'm not saying they're the same player, but the difference besides their position and their skill set, the difference is one is on video, one's not. Video and the presence of video is not going to stop them from taking him in the draft. Ray Rice would be in the league if he weren't an older running back. They gave Greg Hardy another chance until it turned out that he was not the best teammate and wasn't on time. Everybody thinks character means that you're a good person in the community and that you treat people with respect. Character means, is football the most important thing in your life? Are you smart enough not to get suspended? If you're going to smoke weed, don't fail a test. If you're going to drink, try not to drink and drive, or so many times to where you get suspended. Don't put your hands on anybody, but if you do it, if you're still really good, we'll give you a second chance. So we got to get out of this mindset of expecting the league to do something that society doesn't do a good enough job of, which is protect women. And again, in fairness, and I hesitate to use that word, he did it. Does that mean it's a precursor to repeated behavior? Does that mean he's going to do it again, or did he do something? And at what point does somebody stop paying the price for that?
Yeah.
You could argue that he didn't pay enough of a price to begin with, even being suspended for a season.
Which is not on the NFL.
Right. You know, what do you get? Misdemeanor assault, $100 of community service.
He had a plea agreement, yes.
Yeah, so you could argue he didn't pay enough of a price. But if he's available to be drafted and he's employable, these teams are going to pick the best players and deal with the backlash after that.
The only thing that ever upsets me about the NFL, and for that matter, individual teams, is when they insult our intelligence. Because the one phrase I never want to hear come out of a coach's mouth, a GM's mouth, an owner's mouth, and certainly not the commissioner of the league is, we have a no-tolerance policy when it comes to domestic violence and or hitting women, because clearly that's not true.
It's an asterisk next
it is, because if that was the case, then Joe Mixon wouldn't even be eligible to be drafted.
Right.
So there
Which is why not having him at the combine was silly.
Was so stupid.
Because if he can get drafted,
then have him at the combine. If you're going to do it, go all the way with it.
Right.
Do it expeditiously, as Joe Clark would say, right?
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to make light of this situation, but it kind of is what it is. He's been through the legal system, and I'm certainly, and I know you aren't either. I'm not trying to justify anything that he's
Absolutely
done.
not.
But the truth of the matter is, he's been through the legal system. There was a lot of issues about how Oklahoma handled his situation. That's all behind him too. Now he is an employee on a market, and the market dictates he will be drafted. So if you're a fan of whatever team Joe Mixon deals with, whatever you have to tell yourself, you may not root for him, you may boo him, you may root for him, you may be able to compartmentalize the situation. Whatever it is you need to do, he will be in the NFL. And I'm with you. I don't see a lot of teams. There's only one team,
Baltimore.
the Baltimore Ravens.
Won't touch him.
I don't see a lot of teams having some kind of discussion in terms of, well, can we, what about his character? No, as long as who he is as a football player checks out,
Right.
he will be on a roster, and I think he's going to go a lot higher than people
They got a
think.
hell of a lot of players. See, and I always say, I'm just not into ranking sins.
Right.
Because it's like, at what point do you say, well, this person who has a sexual assault situation or, you know, or was abusive to children or animals or drunk driving, well, we're going to stop, you know, condemning him and we're going to forgive him and let bygones be bygones there. But in this situation, this is worse. We can't touch him. So we could have one person on the team, but not another person on the team. Well, who's to say which one is worse than the other one in everybody's opinion? There are plenty of people who are not on video who have situations similar to this that are in the league right now. And these teams are going to look at this player and say, you know what? We'll deal with the PR backlash as it relates to the value in the draft. It's always going to be a value situation. Those red flags become lighter and lighter shades of pink as the draft goes on. I don't think it's going to be fourth round. And look, with all due respect to Lewis, he's forgotten more football than I know. I don't think it's going to be fourth round. I don't think there's this much hoopla about his pro day and this many people going out to see him that are going to say, you know what? Nah, we're good. We're going to let somebody else take this talent and deal with that PR backlash. They're going to figure the right team. You know what it's going to take? Not so much the coach or the structure, the right market with the right type of veteran public relations staff.
Correct.
The right type of veteran media relations staff that's really can get a handle on this and not commit some of the missteps that we've seen other PR departments do.
As I've seen the NFL since the Ray Rice video fumble their way through establishing some kind of policy on conduct, and particularly as it relates to women, I have often wondered, are our expectations out of whack with what this league actually does?
Yes.
Okay.
They continue to prove it over and over again.
This league.
We'll sign the kicker until it comes out that the kicker.
Until it comes out, right? Exactly.
Go.
I was like, this league is not meant to be some kind of moral arbiter. They're just not. That's not what they're here for.